Back in the 20th century, a 16mm projector in the classroom meant a fun movie day instead of a boring teacher lecture. The films told students the correct way to do things. But what if the kids learned a different cinematic lesson? Were these health films educating students about good and bad behavior, or was it really teaching them a good way to be bad? Was there a dark and dangerous side to health films? I'm Randy Jones, the original cowboy from Village People, and I'd like to invite you to join me for Danger Health Films. Tonight we have Jack Webb's Red Nightmare, a Cold War masterpiece from 1957. Did this film warn American citizens about the dangers of Soviet communism, or did it educate capitalists about the thrilling new ways to treat their employees?
Америки папиросы, они очень хорошие.
Speak English, comrade. Remember, that is about the only freedom you do not have in this town. It's American town.
Americans, they have too many freedoms.
That is another thing you must remember, comrade. For one day it will be your mission to destroy those bourgeois capitalist freedoms.
Jack Webb created FX's The Americans.
Frightening, isn't it?
Just the facts, Jack. Jack Webb starred in the cop drama Dragnet.
Appearances, this community could be in Iowa, California, or Tennessee. It looks like an American town. As American as apple pie and ice cream.
He forgot the hot dogs. He might be a commie.
As a matter of fact, you can find apple pie here and ice cream too. But appearances are deceptive. This is not an American town.
Ooh, how Magritte of him.
However, it may be assumed that such a town does exist, shrouded in secrecy and protected by utmost security, deep behind the Iron Curtain. You might call this a college town, communist style, as part of a long-range plan to destroy our free way of life.
Soda jerks, that was a commie plot.
These young communists are studying the economic, political, and religious institutions that are the very heartbeat of America. The courses here in this strangest of all schools: espionage as a science, propaganda as an art, sabotage as a business.
Explosives and listening devices? Now that's more exciting than calculus, and useful after graduation.
This nameless American city, deep in the vastness of the Soviet Union, it stands as a symbol of Russian treachery, of long-range communist conspiracy. This town may appear to be an accurate likeness of a typical American community, but it's a fraud. It isn't free.
Today, they impersonate Americans on social media websites.
Now, let's take a look at a genuine American town and a genuine American.
The Warner Brothers backlot is a genuine town.
I want you to meet Jerry Donovan. He's proud of his country, but prone to take his liberties for granted. Oh, he's aware that someone must assume responsibility for those liberties, for our free way of life. Yet, when there's a job to be done, Jerry, like so many Americans, is apt to ask, why me?
Anybody home? Well, hi there, partners. What? Hey, what is this?
This is the only depiction of minorities in this film.
You bad guy, take away our land! What? He's on the warpath. You better send for the cavalry. Take him prisoner. Tie him up on Hill of Red Ant.
Redskin Nightmare.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I don't happen to like ants.
You sit on Ant Hill.
Now, you got this all wrong. You see, I happen to be a good guy.
Sit.
Yes, sir.
Hey, where are you going? Get him honey. Ants love honey.
Oh, now, just a minute.
All right, Indians, time to wash up. Dinner's almost ready. Right, and now, dessert in the wigwam later.
Oh, come on!
Well, you saved me from a fate worse than death.
Oh?
How come we're even been so ordinary?
Well, don't you remember you have a union committee meeting tonight? I just want to make sure you could make it.
They don't expect me. I told them that your folks were coming here for dinner tonight.
Oh, honey, Mom and Dad aren't due in for another week yet. Now you have plenty of time for the meeting, huh?
Then you don't understand. I knew that your folks weren't going to be here tonight.
You knew?
Jerry bails on his union meeting. Today's companies applaud his attitude.
You like that?
That smells good.
I thought so. Jerry, would you say that I was a nag?
Well, no more than average.
Oh, Jerry, can't you think of anything besides bowling and television?
Well, the way you talk about that PTA, you'd think it was some kind of a hush-hush government meeting to determine the future of the nation. They can struggle along without me.
The P in PTA stands for psst.
Now, Bill, the list of play you've got to watch out for. Now, their quarterback takes the snapback. Right. He hands off to the left half, who goes wide.
Hey, Mom, Linda's putting coffee on her strawberries.
Coffee on strawberries was the 50s avocado toast.
Linda put coffee on a strawberry.
All right. You finished your dinner now. You can be excused. Is there something on your mind?
How can you tell?
Oh, Daddy, Mother, we want to get married.
Well, if everybody's through kissing each other, I think there are a few things we ought to iron out. Now, don't get me wrong. Bill, I like you, you know. I'm not against the marriage. Matter of fact, I think it'd be a fine idea. 4 or 5 years.
Jerry has a 5-year plan. That's a Soviet timeline. Are we sure this is America?
Mr. Donovan, I'm going to marry your daughter. And I'm not going to wait 4 or 5 years to do it.
Linda.
Honey, now let them go. Sweet dreams.
Picture of an American retiring for the night, going to bed in comfort, without worries or problems. Well, almost without problems. Linda and Bill may mean momentary worry, but in America there's always tomorrow, with its bright promise.
Tomorrow offers no great promise in Canada.
And problems will work out. Somehow things always work out.
Jack Webb is stalking these people.
Now, in a few minutes, Jerry Donovan will be asleep. But tonight, instead of the sweet dreams his wife wished him, let's give Jerry a nightmare, a real red nightmare.
Jack Webb is the prototype for Rod Serling.
Now, you remember that Russian town we saw earlier? The town that looked like it belonged in Kansas or Ohio or Vermont? Let's lift that town out of the Soviet Union. Let's superimpose it on Jerry's hometown. And those precious freedoms Jerry so complacently accepts. Let's see how many freedoms Jerry might lose if suddenly he had to live under communist domination.
That's the signpost up ahead. The next stop, the Commie Zone. Does that look like your airport now?
Jerry's a little confused. Things seem different now, and they should, because freedom has suddenly vanished.
Your permit number, please.
Permit number? Operator, I don't have a permit. I just want to call my house. I want to talk to my wife.
No personal calls are allowed without a permit from the commissar. You will get off the line, please.
Now we seek permission to make calls by the bars on their cell phones.
But operator...
Say what gives. Come along, comrade.
Now that you've become acquainted with the enlightened communist system, in contrast to the outdated capitalistic way of life, you are now prepared for the next step of your indoctrination, which will be most difficult. When the moral fiber of the United States weakens and the economy collapses under the pressure of competitive coexistence, you will assume control.
Competitive coexistence? Capitalism now is about mega mergers and buying out potential competitors.
You will move into every phase of American political and economic life.
Russians meddling in American politics?
It will be your responsibility, comrades, to purge the minds of the reactionary Americans so that they will welcome the enlightened Soviet system and conform without resistance to the dictatorship of the proletariat.
Check your cable listings for RT, which was known as Russia Today.
Again, my congratulations, comrades. Continue the good work.
Does this feel like one of those useless town meetings at your job?
Say, could you tell me what...
Yes, comrade.
Nothing, never mind. Thank God you're all right.
I have something to do.
Even in commie world, teenagers don't want to talk to Dad.
Gee, Helen, I'm sorry I'm late. Something strange happened. Something very strange. I was standing in the plaza...
Never mind that. But you are disturbing the children. Their meals are to be consumed without interruption.
Because only commie moms want quiet at the dinner table.
I don't blame you for being sore, but I'll make it up to you. Tomorrow night we'll have an early dinner at the steakhouse. Then we'll take the kids to the drive-in movie.
That would be quite impossible. Tomorrow night you've been selected to address the Parent-Teachers Committee.
The what? Oh, no, there must be some mistake. They don't want me. What would I talk about? How Jimmy's team lost the Little League championship last year?
Subject of your address has already been selected for you. The theme will be how the new communistic life benefits children.
Now, wait a minute. What if I don't want to talk about that? What if I don't want to talk at all?
I would advise you not to object. Recently, the party learned that you were on the debate team while in school. They were very disturbed that you kept this fact a secret from them. Experienced speakers are needed by the party. They'll make very good use of you.
Mandatory public speaking? That's barbarism.
Sergeant, check the kitchen. You look in the back. I'll be upstairs.
Hey! What is this? Where do you think you're going?
We have no time for explanations. Already we are 15 minutes behind schedule.
I don't care who sent your why. You're not going to take another step until I see your warrant.
Warrant? We need no warrant. As a member of the Young Communist League, your daughter has volunteered for farm work.
The Supreme Court justified no-knock warrants in 1995.
She's to be transported immediately. The truck is waiting outside.
It's Uber with firepower.
Now, wait a minute. Let me get something straight. You say my daughter volunteered?
That is correct. Here's the signature. Requesting transport to the People's Collective.
This became a trend when kids ran off to hippie communes in the 60s.
Signature on that piece of paper is false. And everything you've said is a lie because my daughter would never leave here of her own free will.
Sergeant!
You've got no right to be in this house. I'm going to give you just 10 seconds to get out of here.
Daddy? It's true, Daddy. I did volunteer for farm work.
In your face, old man.
Linda, why?
The party convinced me that I should free myself of the lingering bourgeois influence of family life. I am ready.
And that's why kids would run off to communes to grow organic beets.
Do not interfere. It is for my own good.
This also works as the beginning of a movie about kids who run off to join religious cults.
And Comrade Donovan, do not think that your deviationist remarks shall be overlooked. They will be reported to the proper authorities.
In America, he'd be flamed on social media.
Hey, what's this quota business?
It's today's work, comrade.
Quotas for workers? I guess America really didn't have sales jobs in the 50s.
Hello, Pete. Having a little trouble. Bertha doesn't seem to be in a working mood.
James West of the Wild Wild West has come to save him.
The late must be fixed immediately. You have a quota to fulfill. If you fail, we'll all be held responsible.
He's one of them.
I'm doing the best I can. Quota or no quota, I can't do anything till I get this fixed.
Well, then I advise you work during your lunch hour. The quota must be met, and Comrade Commissar isn't interested in excuses.
Well, capitalism allows businesses to train workers as salaried training managers just to avoid overtime.
The kids get off to Sunday school all right? If they get back from Sunday school, why don't we all pile into the car and go over... Hey, what is this? Someone going on a trip?
You could call it a trip. Actually, the children are going away to a state school.
Now, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. I don't know what's happened to you or what they've done to change you, but you're not going to send these kids away.
Nowadays, rich capitalists enjoy being able to send their kids to boarding schools.
Oh, she's not sending us away. It was our idea. We learned in school that home life does not encourage the growth of the collective character which the party wishes to develop in its young people. It's your fault. You should have spent more time training us to think along party lines. As a member of the Young Pioneers, it will be my duty to report you.
School police officers love kids to narc on their parents.
You better listen to me. All of you. I don't want to hear any more talk about state schools and party lines and collective character and deviationism. This is going to be a family again, and I know just where to start. You two are going to Sunday school, and you're going right now.
Nothing like fighting indoctrinism with Sunday school.
Mommy, tell her!
No use to argue.
Mom!
This time, I'm going to overrule the party. They've been poisoning you kids with those lies long enough. Now you're really going to find out what the truth is all about.
That pretty much describes certain news channels' programming days.
We tried to tell you, Dad, but you wouldn't listen. There is no more Sunday school.
Somebody made a big mistake. Come on, we're going to leave this straight now, right now. Come on. Come on inside. Come on, Jimmy. What's happened? What have they done?
Keep your voice down, comrade. Otherwise, I shall have to report you.
Who put these displays in here? This is a house of worship.
You are mistaken.
The Church of the Holy Communion was turned into the Limelight Disco.
This is the People's Museum, and I am warning you once more.
This place is a lie. Everything about it is false.
According to a CNN poll, 23% of Americans don't claim a religion.
This was not invented by a Russian. The man's name was Bell, Alexander Graham Bell. And he was an American. Get that, comrade. Everything on this table is as phony as the town. The rotten system you call communism.
And this predicted the arrival of the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Comrade Donovan, you are accused of the following crimes against the state: subversion, deviationism, and treason. You have been given this opportunity to make a public confession of your treacherous violation.
Just a minute. This is supposed to be a trial. Who says I'm guilty of anything? Where's your proof?
The state needs no proof. It is up to you to prove your innocence.
How can I prove my innocence if I don't know what I'm accused of?
Thanks to all the disclaimers you click through on websites, you can be in trouble without having all the evidence brought against you.
Subversion against whom? Deviationism from what? Treason against what government?
And now you have to go on Sunday morning news shows to defend your loyalty.
The prisoner has been given his opportunity to confess. I ask now that he be sentenced.
Now, wait a minute. You've got to listen to me.
Ever get thrown in Twitter jail?
They say I'm guilty of crimes against the state, but it's the state that committed the crimes. They broke into my home without a warrant. Armed soldiers. They took away my daughter.
His daughter invited them in to get a ride to the farm.
They desecrated a house of worship and replaced religious objects with phony displays, and they called it a museum.
The Children's Museum of Manhattan is moving into the Church of Christ Scientist.
They even tried to turn my own kids against me.
Dad did mock his son's baseball team.
My wife. Helen, you were there. You know that what I'm saying is true. Tell them.
That's a wife stare that most husbands witness in American divorce courts.
Mrs. Donovan, this document contains your signed statement. It proves that your husband tried to turn your children against the communist state. Is the statement true?
Yes.
Helen.
Lieutenant Martin, Comrade Kucheznov, Comrade Malenko. These documents contain your signed statements. They prove that Comrade Donovan is guilty of deviationism and treason. I want you to tell the court. There's no need to continue this trial. The evidence against the prisoner is overwhelming. I ask now that he be sentenced immediately.
I want to see those statements. And maybe I'll have a few words to say in my own defense.
The prisoner will step back into the box. There is no need to examine the statements of the witnesses. The prisoner stands condemned by his own words.
Only minorities and the poor get railroaded in capitalist courts.
He has challenged the supreme authority of the state. He has questioned its practices and its decisions. And by these actions, he has proved himself to be a dangerous enemy to the proletariat. And he must be treated as such.
Today he gets slammed as a disgruntled worker by his old company.
As an ugly remnant of a diseased bourgeois class. He must be eradicated before the contagion can spread. Comrade Donovan, you are hereby sentenced to be shot.
Plenty of Americans want to eliminate appeals courts.
Comrade Donovan, you've been convicted of crimes against the supreme communist government. Being an enemy of the state, you must be liquidated. I have been commissioned to carry out your sentence.
What, no firing squad?
I'm afraid not.
By eliminating the cost of a firing squad, execution budgets are leaner and more efficient. Now that's truly capitalist.
However, as a last favor from the government, you are hereby granted one final chance to confess your crimes. If you wish, a recorder will be summoned to take down your statement.
I have a statement to make, all right, but you can deliver it. You just tell your government that someday its own people are going to get wise to it. Someday there's going to be enough holes in that iron curtain that all of your people will be able to escape to freedom.
There was a hole in the Iron Curtain in the 90s, and they put Putin in power.
You'll never be able to build a wall strong enough to hold them. One of my own countrymen once said, you can't fool all of the people all of the time.
That quote was from Jacques Abadie from France in 1684. Lincoln never said that.
Believe me, you communists can't keep fooling the entire world.
The Russians, they like to fool us by being patriotic Americans on the internet.
You can't even keep fooling your own people. Because the news about communism is getting around. That it's only another word for slavery.
Don't worry, Jerry. That bullet will never reach you. Because it's time to bring you back from your red nightmare.
Jack Webb was a spokesman for Chesterfield Cigarettes.
What you have seen is not entirely fiction. Greater brutality is taking place right now in countries which have been swallowed up by the communist machine. We know that Jerry is waking. Let's see if his dream has impressed him.
All that passion, and they're still forced by the state to have 2 twin beds.
Helen?
Yes, darling.
Helen?
Honey, the kids polished off the eggs. Would you mind cereal?
Cereal will be fine, just fine.
I'll get it.
Good morning.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Daddy, will you buy me a new space helmet?
You get a space helmet.
Capitalism means buying new, useless plastic junk for the kids.
Hey, Mom! Mom!
Dad looks stoned.
If you'd like to talk some more about that marriage business, you better catch me while I'm in a good mood.
Oh, Daddy. We've got something to tell you.
Now, you haven't run off.
No, that we haven't done. But we have decided to wait. Not 5 years, mind you. But at least I've finished my hitch in the service.
So he has to join the army like his commie twin.
That's a wise decision, Bill. Yes, indeed, I think that's a very wise decision.
Jerry knows now, so he'll never forget it. Responsibilities are a privilege, an inherent American right.
Are these responsibilities a privilege or a right?
The strength of our nation. The bright hopes of a free world are founded on the dedication of individual Americans. Freedom has a price, and its price is vigilance. Its price is responsibility, not only of government, but of every citizen who salutes our flag. Those who serve as a part of our nation's armed might, and those who have served, they guarantee freedom's continued existence. Freedom. No single word in all the languages of mankind has come to mean so much. Freedom to enjoy the simple things of life in the circle of family and friends. Freedom to work at a vocation of our choosing.
So far, these freedoms are for white citizens. I see white people.
To vote in open elections for the candidate we believe best qualified.
The Voting Rights Act was still 8 years away. Somebody was getting denied their ballot freedom.
To come, to go as we please. Freedom to own property.
Until the Fair Housing Act a decade later, this freedom to own a home anywhere was pretty much whites only.
To enjoy the priceless heritage of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To marry and raise a family with belief in the dignity of the human spirit.
When Red Nightmare was made, 24 states still prohibited interracial marriage.
To study in the field of our choice.
Colleges at this time were free to ban minorities.
To speak our beliefs. To worship God. These freedoms that spell America. They represent a way of life that has become the farthest advancement of mankind on this planet. To prevent communism from consuming the entire free world.
Wait, did you spot the minorities crossing the street? Please, rewind and play along.
There stands but one man. That man is you.
Is Jack Webb saying only a white military can protect America? Red Nightmare, it comes off as a white dream. Did Red Nightmare teach us about the evils of communism? Or did it really teach capitalists about the concept of quotas, feel-good rallies, and turning churches into discos?